Hi, I'm Christina, and this is a book review of Case Study by Graeme Macrae Burnet. So this was published in 2021 and it was longlisted for the Booker Prize in 2022. Now, I'll just start by saying that I absolutely love this book. I gave it 5 stars and it is quite unlike anything I've ever read before. So let me tell you a little bit about what it's about. So it starts with a preface, and that is a note to the reader from someone with the initials GMB. So obviously that matches the initials of the author. And in this note, they're telling us that they received an email from someone who found a series of notebooks whilst they were sorting through a house. And these notebooks belonged to their cousin. Now, this cousin had been a patient of a kind of notorious psychotherapist called Collins Braithwaite in the 1960s, and he's now a disgraced psychotherapist, and he's kind of fallen into obscurity. Now, this person has emailed GMB specifically because they had posted a blog post on this psychotherapist, Collins Braithwaite, and so the person who found the notebooks thought they might be interested in reading the contents of the notebooks. So then what follows is the actual notebooks themselves presented to us as the reader, and this person tells us that they have lightly edited these, and then alongside the notebooks they have inserted their own research, their own kind of biographical material about Collins Braithwaite. So that's how you read the story. You read it as you read the notebook, the first notebook, and then you read the early life of the psychotherapist, and then you read the second notebook, and then you read his life at Oxford, etc., etc. And it was such a unique format. I thought it worked really, really well. And I was just as interested in both kind of parts of the story. And I think that's actually very difficult to achieve when you're reading something like this. Oftentimes you are more intrigued by a certain part of the story, but not in this one. So the notebooks themselves are written by a woman who is technically unnamed. She doesn't divulge her identity to you, but she does kind of have the pseudonym, if you will, of Rebecca. And the reason that she is talking about this psychotherapist is because she believes he is responsible for her sister's death, in the sense that he drove her towards suicide. So what she's trying to do is meet him, become a patient of his, a client of his, and just try and uncover the truth around her sister's death. And it works so well. So the notebooks themselves have a very kind of specific voice. The woman that kind of writes them, it just kind of conjures up an idea in your head of the woman that she actually is. So that part of the story itself is set in London in 1965. That's when she's embarking upon this mission to find out the truth about what happened to her sister and find out if this man is responsible. And then obviously we're going through the actual biographical details of his life from this GMB person, and that's also very interesting. It kind of paints a picture of a man who is very intelligent, but he's also very arrogant, probably quite narcissistic, and kind of doesn't really believe in like rules and social constructions and laws, and just kind of does what he wants to do, and kind of becomes quite famous for his time for his thoughts on psychiatry and the way in which he deals with his patients. And he doesn't have any kind of formal training, in the sense that he doesn't have any kind of medical degrees. He isn't actually a psychiatrist. So he's basically just someone who has called himself a psychotherapist. So that's the whole kind of premise of the book. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I thought about it. So I think this novel is just so inventive. The word I would use for it is unique. I can't think of a single book that I have read that is kind of anything like this book. And just to put that into perspective, I've read about 450 books at this stage since I've started kind of recording my reading, and I can't think of a single one of those that is quite like this book. So that obviously speaks for itself. I think it's a very, very clever book. And I think the way in which he's kind of pulled it all together, he's executed it so well. It really is it's brilliant. I was really, really intrigued by it. I was just kind of on the edge of my seat. I wanted to know what was going on. And I think one of the best things about this book is that it reads like a little bit of a puzzle. Like, you don't quite know what's going on quite a lot of the time, and you're just kind of like trying to piece it together and just kind of work out the answers for yourself. So kind of a lot of the time it's kind of like a book within a book, in the sense of being the notebooks, and then you've got the preface with the same initials as the author, and I don't think you quite know what is real. For a lot of the time I was genuinely sitting there going, what's fact, what's fiction, what's fabrication, and just trying to pull it all together, because really it reads like it's all true and it's all fact. So it reads like these notebooks are genuinely written by this person, and this author has genuinely written a blog post about this man, and it all kind of marries together, but at the same time you don't actually know what is real. And I thought that was wonderful. I thought he pulled that off really, really well. So I'm definitely going to be picking up whatever he writes next, and I have looked at his kind of older works and they sound really good, so I'll definitely be picking up some of his previous books. But yeah, definitely be interested to, genuinely I'll read whatever he publishes next, because I thought this was just absolutely excellent. So the characters themselves, I would say that the main character is the author of the notebooks, and she's such an interesting character as well. So when she's going to see the psychotherapist, she decides that she can't possibly just go to him as she is, because she doesn't think there's anything at all wrong with her, and he'd just kind of see through it immediately. So what she has to do is kind of create a character in order to see him, and then she'll always see him under the guise of this character. The character is Rebecca Smith, so she presents herself as Rebecca Smith. But then it gets to the stage where she's not just using Rebecca to see this psychotherapist, she's also kind of dating a man on the side under the guise of Rebecca. So it's kind of like, is this character she's created kind of overcoming who she is as a person? Or, you know, there's questions of kind of mental health, that she might have some kind of schizophrenia perhaps, or all of these kind of questions are up in the air. And it's really, really good. I thought so many times, I was sitting there just going, I have no idea what is happening, and that was wonderful. It worked really, really well. So yeah, I think it's something that is so innovative, it's so inventive, it's just so unique. And actually, when I looked at it on Goodreads, I know it was longlisted for the Booker Prize in 2022, but there's still fewer than like 4,500 reviews on Goodreads, so I still think this is a little bit of a hidden gem. I don't think that many people have actually read it, according to Goodreads, and yeah, I think it's brilliant. I would highly recommend that you read it if it sounds interesting to you. I think it's one of those books where you will just constantly question yourself, and you'll constantly question what you're reading. You'll take one thing at face value, you'll take one thing as truth, and then in the next, you know, pages or chapters, you'll start kind of questioning yourself again, and questioning kind of all the assumptions you made previously and all of the things you believe to be true because that's how it was presented to you. I thought it was brilliant. It was a really great kind of reading experience. Yeah, that's what I'd call it. I think it was a great reading experience in the sense that it really kind of takes you on a journey more than like a traditional novel. It really takes you somewhere, and yeah, I thought it was really good. So yeah, 5-star read, highly recommend it. If you have read this book, I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you have liked this video, please do like it, and please do subscribe if you would like to see more of me talking about books. Now, if you have read any of these other books, I would love to know your thoughts on those two, and let me know which one you think I should read next, because I'm definitely going to pick up more of his books. But I'd love to know, if you've read a few of them, where you think I should go next. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one.